Ta-ta! Hello kids, boys and girls. Are you ready to draw and paint? Because I definitely am. I was on a vacation last week and it was awesome. Yeah. Do you know where I went, kids? I went to Greece. Yeah, I went to a Greek island and it was beautiful. And we stayed in a house with my brother and with my friends. And the house was right by the sea. Beautiful Mediterranean Sea. Have you ever heard about Mediterranean? It's a beautiful sea. It's like the ocean but smaller because I think seas are smaller than oceans. Anyway, my house was right by the sea and I was looking at the sea by my window anytime I wanted to because it's so relaxing. Yeah, sea and beautiful weather of the Mediterranean was so relaxing and it made me think of you kids. I was like, what should I draw when I come back for these kids? Sure, a penguin. I mean, there are no penguins in Greece. I think they're only in South Pole, but still, looking at the sea all that time made me think of penguins. So what color are the penguins? Usually they're black, yellow, and white. I mean, yeah, like most of the birds, they have their beaks in yellow color and most of their body looks black and their bellies are white. But surely we don't want to paint our drawing with just black and white. I mean, that would be boring. Yes, and we don't like boring, we like fun and creative, so we're gonna use our imagination. And instead of a white belly, I'm giving my penguin a light blue belly. And body of my penguin is going to be a darker blue. The best blue. You know, we like characterizing our colors and our blues are the best blues, kids. Okay, is it time for a story? I think it's time for a story now because everything in the world has a story. I mean, even a piece of rock has a story. It has a past and history and all that. Our little penguin lived in the South Pole, but it always wanted to be a surfer because it grew up with surfer movies and it was a fan of the famous surfers like Greg Knoll and Laird Hamilton and all those people. And our penguin one day decided to travel south to find a shore where animals and people surfed. Yeah. Does it make sense? Maybe. But who cares? It's just a story and we're just making it up. So, our penguin traveled south to find surfers and it was really fascinated with surfing and it wanted to surf all its life. But when it got to South Beach, I mean, yeah, there were surfers, but it was really hot. The weather was really hot for our little penguin because it was used to living in cold places like its home, the South Pole. But our little penguin was a determined penguin and it was going to learn surfing somehow, one way or the other. I mean, it was really hot and it was sweating, but who cares? He came all that way to learn surfing and that's what he did. He hung out at the South Beach for a while and he became a really good surfer. But after some point, I mean, it was really hot. It was unbearable for our little penguin and it had to go back to its natural habitat, which is the South Pole, where the ice is cold and the water is blue. Yeah. I mean, water is pretty much blue everywhere. But anyway, it came back to home as an experienced surfer, but it couldn't bring its surfboard because the wings of a penguin is really short and they don't have fingers, so there was no way our little penguin could carry its surfboard to the South Pole. All that way is very long. So anyway, it had to make a surfboard for itself, but there was no material. I mean, that was not gonna stop our determined penguin because once you're determined, I think you can manage anything. I mean, you can find a way, you can solve all those problems. So, our little penguin found a piece of ice and started surfing. And every other penguin in the South Pole was amazed. I mean, how can that be? There's a surfing penguin in the South Pole. We never saw anything like that before. We usually slide on ice and we swim in the sea, but we don't know anything about surfing. Look at this penguin. And they actually wrote a poem about our little penguin and it went like this. Look at Surfer Sam. surfing on an ice. Look at him again. He's doing it twice. So, from that day on, everybody called him the Surfer Sam, and every other penguin in the South Pole knew about Sam. And one more thing, there was a little problem. Sam was always cold. Because of his trip to the south, he kind of got used to the weather over there, and when he came back, he started feeling really cold. Other penguins, of course, helped Sam, and they made him a little scarf and a nice hat so he wouldn't get cold while he was surfing. And as you can see, it's snowing in our drawing, so it's a good thing our little Sam has a nice scarf and a little hat. And ta-da! Hi Sam! Surf really fast so you won't be last.